When players collide on the ice, it can make fans wince. The average NHL hit might knock someone off the puck, but when these players on our list deliver a check, they send opponents flying. Here are the top 10 bone-crushing hits in NHL history. Number 10.
Went off Leno's stick and wide. Oh, man! He's out. And then an extra hit came from Bufflin and a crowd gathered.
Niklas Kronwall on Martin Havlat, 2009 Western Conference Finals. Niklas Kronwall was famous for hits so big they created their own term, getting Kronwalled. During the 2009 playoff battle between Detroit and Chicago, Havlat became another victim of Kronwall's punishing style. As the Blackhawks forward tried to control the puck near the boards, Kronwall came flying in with perfect timing, catching Havlat with his shoulder and sending him spinning to the ice. The hit was so powerful that Havlat's helmet popped off, and he lay stunned on the ice for several moments. Refs threw Kronwall out of the game, which caused Red Wings fans to erupt in boos and chants. Despite the ejection, the league decided not to suspend Kronwall, ruling that while devastating, the hit was clean by 2009 standards. This crushing collision set the tone for what would become an intense playoff rivalry between these original 6 teams. Number 9.
Play 0 for 4, 5 on 3 this season. Mitchell's back out, and what a hit! Oh, he caught Taves, and Taves still down. Rock, breakaway, and it's going to be wiped out by a response.
Willie Mitchell on Jonathan Taves, 2009 to 2010 regular season. Willie Mitchell was known for his steady defensive play, but on this night, he reminded everyone he could deliver bone-rattling hits too. During a regular season matchup between bitter rivals Vancouver and Chicago, Taves was carrying the puck through the neutral zone when Mitchell stepped up and caught the Blackhawks captain with his head down. The hit sent Taves flying backwards, his stick and gloves exploding in different directions as he crashed to the ice. Teammates immediately rushed to help their day's captain as the Chicago crowd fell silent. Despite the violent collision, it was considered a textbook clean hit with perfect timing. This monster check earned Mitchell respect across the league and showed why even star players needed to keep their heads up when crossing the blue line against the Canucks. Number 8.
Gomez, he made sure not to put that whammy on. Passed up near side Segura, tried to draw it around, and down on the ice. Oh my goodness. Is that Paul Correa? Yes, it is.
Scott Stevens on Paul Correa, 2003 Stanley Cup Finals Game 6. Scott Stevens made a career out of crushing open ice hits, and his collision with Paul Correa stands as one of his most famous. As the Mighty Ducks star tried to advance the puck, Stevens caught him looking the other way and delivered a devastating shoulder check that instantly dropped Correa to the ice. The Anaheim crowd watched in horror as Correa lay motionless, his visor filled with fog being the only sign he was breathing. Incredibly, after being helped to the locker room, Correa returned later in the game and scored a crucial goal, creating one of hockey's most memorable comeback moments. The hit sparked endless debate about legal versus dirty hits, but everyone agrees on one thing. It showed both Stevens' punishing style and Correa's incredible toughness on hockey's biggest stage. Number 7.
A drop pass for Sundin and a shot, and that is blocked, and Sundin gets crumpled, and he is down and hurt.
Garnet Exelby on Mats Sundin, 2007 to 2008 regular season. Garnet Exelby wasn't a household name, but his hit on Toronto's beloved captain made sure hockey fans wouldn't forget him. During a seemingly routine game between Atlanta and Toronto, Sundin fired a shot from the blue line and briefly admired his work. That split-second pause was all Exelby needed to line up the 6 feet 5 inches Sundin and launch him completely off his feet. The massive Swede, who rarely got knocked down by anyone, went flying through the air before crashing onto his back. Toronto fans gasped as their captain slowly got back to his skates, clearly shaken by the unexpected impact. What made this hit special was the size difference it overcame. Exelby giving up several inches but still managing to flatten one of the league's biggest stars with perfect timing and technique. Number 6.
Spurs Mahalik on his off-wing backhand. Doesn't get it on net, and then is nailed by Moore! Oh, a Richter scale hit, and Mahalik is on his knees!
Brendan Morrow on Milan Mahalik, 2008 Stanley Cup Playoffs. Brendan Morrow was the heart and soul of the Dallas Stars, known for playing bigger than his size when games mattered most. During a heated playoff battle with San Jose, Morrow spotted Sharks forward Mihalik carrying the puck with his head down. The Stars captain launched himself at full speed catching Michalek with a clean shoulder that sent him spinning violently to the ice. The arena erupted as Michalek lay stunned, needing several minutes before teammates could help him to the bench. This bone-jarring collision shifted momentum in the series and showed why Morrow wore the C for Dallas. The hit became a rallying point for the Stars, who went on to eliminate the favored Sharks, with fans and commentators pointing to this moment as when Dallas proved they were the more physical team when it mattered most. Number 5. PK Subban on Brad Marchand, 2013 to 2014 regular season. PK Subban and Brad Marchand represented two sides of hockey's most bitter rivalry, Montreal versus Boston. Both known for getting under opponents' skin, these two had been jawing at each other all night when Subban decided to let his shoulder do the talking. As Marchand reached for a loose puck near the boards, Subban timed his approach perfectly and unleashed a hit so powerful it lifted the Bruins' agitator completely off the ice. Marchand's body went horizontal before crashing down in a heap, leaving the Boston crowd momentarily stunned into silence. The Canadiens' bench erupted in celebration, while Bruins players immediately tried to challenge Subban, creating a massive scrum. This rivalry has produced countless memorable moments, but this collision stands out for its perfect combination of timing, power, and the personal history between the players. Even Boston fans had to admit, reluctantly, that it was a clean hit, making it all the more satisfying for Montreal supporters who had seen Marchand aggravate their team for years. Number 4.
Down around back of the net, Jay Harrison, the former Leaf farmhand, gets it out. Oh, what a hit! Holy mackerel, what a hit by Phaneuf!
Dion Phaneuf on Tuomo Ruutu, 2011 regular season. When Dion Phaneuf first entered the league, veterans warned, "Keep your head up or number 3 will find you." By 2011, Tuomo Ruutu learned this lesson the hard way. As a Maple Leafs Hurricanes game moved into the second period, Ruutu tried carrying the puck through the neutral zone when Phaneuf stepped up from his defensive position. What followed was a textbook open ice collision with Phaneuf's shoulder catching Ruutu squarely in the chest, sending the Finnish forward airborne. The impact was so severe that players on both benches visibly reacted, some standing in disbelief at the violence of the hit. Toronto's arena erupted as their captain delivered the kind of moment that justified his reputation as one of hockey's most feared hitters. Commentators immediately called it the hit of the year, with replays showing from multiple angles just how perfectly Phaneuf had timed his approach. What made this hit particularly impressive was that it came during a period when the NHL had started cracking down on dangerous checks. Yet this one remained completely within the rules. Devastating, but clean. This collision reminded the hockey world why Phaneuf, despite criticism of other parts of his game, remained one of the most intimidating physical presences on the ice. Number 3.
Ball, interactive.
Whoa!
boy,
Paille just got hit by Brooks Orpik at center ice, and he launched him 25 feet.
Brooks Orpik on Daniel Paille, 2017 regular season. Brooks Orpik built his career on being the type of defenseman forwards checked for before crossing the blue line. During a regular season game between longtime rivals Pittsburgh and Boston, Bruins forward Paille thought he had safely entered the zone until Orpik appeared seemingly out of nowhere. The veteran defenseman launched his entire body into a hit that sent Paille sprawling across the ice like he'd been fired from a cannon. The collision was so violent that both benches fell silent, players standing to make sure Paille was still moving. Boston's coach immediately pulled Paille from the game to check for concussion symptoms, while Penguins fans roared their approval. What made this hit memorable wasn't just its force, but its tactical importance. It came at a moment when Boston was building momentum, and Orpik's physical statement completely changed the flow of the game. Old-school hockey analysts praised it as the kind of hit that used to happen every night, while newer fans debated whether such collisions still belonged in the modern game. Either way, It showcased why Orpik was considered one of the last true defensive enforcers, a dying breed in today's faster NHL. Number 2.
Another shot. That one is blocked in front of the Islander net. And Martinique gets the puck out to center. And the Islanders, a big collision in the neutral zone. And the Islander player is slow to rise. And Dion Phaneuf is being challenged.
Dion Phaneuf on Kyle Okposo. 2009 preseason. Even in exhibition games, Dion Phaneuf didn't know how to play at half speed. During a preseason matchup that should have been forgettable, Phaneuf delivered a hit that would be discussed for seasons to come. Okposo, a promising young Islanders forward, was carrying the puck through the neutral zone when Phaneuf stepped up and caught him with a shoulder that seemed to defy physics in its destructive power. The sound of the impact echoed through the arena as Okposo's body crumpled to the ice, completely motionless. Players from both teams immediately signaled for medical staff as a hush fell over the crowd. Okposo suffered a concussion that kept him sidelined for weeks, and the debate began instantly. Was this the type of hit hockey needed to eliminate? The Islanders were furious that such violence occurred in a meaningless exhibition game, with their coach calling it exactly what the NHL is trying to remove. Calgary fans defended their star, pointing out that technically, no rules were broken. The hit became a turning point in discussions about head injuries, with many pointing to this specific collision as evidence that the culture needed to change. Phaneuf himself never apologized, stating simply, "That's hockey." This devastating check remains controversial years later, representing the thin line between hard-nosed hockey and dangerous play. Number 1.
Niedermeyer trying to get out of his own skate. Turnover at center. Here's 88. Lindros makes the move. And Lindros is hammered down to the ice by Scott Stevens. And Lindros remains down on the ice.
Scott Stevens on Eric Lindros, 2000 Eastern Conference Final Game 7. If there's one hit that changed hockey history, this is it. Scott Stevens was the most feared hitter of his generation, while Eric Lindros was supposed to be the next Gretzky, a perfect combination of size, skill, and speed. Their collision in Game 7 of the 2000 Conference Finals became the most replayed hit in NHL history. After missing most of the series with concussion issues, Lindros had just returned to help Philadelphia in the decisive game. Early in the first period, Lindros carried the puck across the blue line with his head down for just a split second, and Stevens made him pay with a perfectly timed shoulder that connected with devastating force. The sound of the impact silenced the arena as Lindros crumpled to the ice, his body going limp before he even landed. Players from both teams immediately called for medical help as Lindros lay unconscious, suffering what would be his 6th concussion. The Devils went on to win the game and eventually the Stanley Cup, but this moment transcended the series result. Lindros, once projected to break scoring records, was never the same player again. His career declined rapidly after this hit, turning a future Hall of Fame trajectory into a story of what could have been. The collision sparked league-wide debates about concussion protocols and eventually led to rule changes years later. Hockey historians point to this exact moment as the beginning of the end for the era of open-ice hitting that defined 1990s hockey. Stevens insisted for years it was a clean hockey play, while Lindros fans consider it the moment their hero was robbed of his rightful legacy. No other hit in hockey history has had such profound consequences for both the players involved and the sport itself. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this video, and tell me in the comments which player you think have the most hardest bone-crushing hits. See you and he next. Until then, keep your stick on the ice.